Sorry about the 3D printer making noise in the background. I'm working on Christmas ornaments for my wife. This is just some of the notes, tidbits that I found out yesterday. Yesterday, people started sending me information that was just wonderful. I like getting new information that I can work with, work on. But I did tell somebody, we were talking about the power output of the transceiver on Crossfire, and I misstated the power out. We'll come in here for shop. We'll go to TBS Crossfire, receivers. This is the one I'm using most. Uh, but I did want to come in, and I told somebody I would come in and look at this one for its power output, hoping that it would be better. So I did download the manual, and I found all sorts of things in here. First of all, on let's see, page 6, I found that it's really 40 milliwatts of power on the telemetry right here. Telemetry downlink, diversity receiver. I suppose that's both of them. Don't know for sure. Microceiver and the Nano RXs. 40 milliwatts instead of 10. Still not a lot of power. The original 3DR telemetry radios were 100 milliwatts, and they only went a football field and a half perhaps. This is over half that, which the drop in power only equal about a full football field. It doesn't work that way. When you increase the power on a transmitter and you double it, you only get half again range. So if you had a transmitter working at a power level and it's going 6 miles, if you double the power output, you'll go 9 miles. That's approximate rule of thumb. Now that you're going 9 miles, if you double it again, you're going to add 4.5 miles to that 9 miles for 13.5 miles. So transmitter power is the place where everything needs to be, because you can take that same receiver that you are getting a good signal at 5 miles. You can upgrade the output of the transmitter and take that same receiver and receive it at 100 miles away. You would have to upgrade the power of the transmitter considerably to make that big of a jump. But the same receiver will work regardless. You don't have to change that much, whereas the transmit side changes drastically. And that's about the rule of thumb. Doubling the power out, you get about 50% more range. We use a dBi for that. Approximately 3 dB will double your range. That applies more to the gain on antennas with gain than the power on a transmitter. And of course, radio frequency waves, the lower the frequency, the farther they can be transmitted with the same power. If you have a 100-watt transmitter transmitting at 433 megahertz, it will go a lot further than that same transmitter if you leave the power the same and you increase the frequency to 5.8 gigahertz. That will not go as far as the 433. It's just straight up physics. So I was incorrect when I said 10 milliwatts. It's actually 40. I don't know where I got the 10 milliwatts for, but I am now corrected. And still 40 milliwatts is just not going to go far. Whether it be 10 or 40, it's just not really going to hack it. I think someplace in here, TBS states that it only goes 3 kilometers, something like that. But I'm looking for different solutions. Kind of disappointed that what was in the sales documentation didn't turn out to be true. But then again, I worked for so many electronics companies and stuff, and we really got, the salesman would tell the customers anything to make a sale, and then we couldn't make it work frequently. Also, in the Crossfire manual, that is where on page 52 is where we get the sensors that you can do through CRSF on an OpenTX based radio. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. These are what you get when you use CRSF into Yahoo or iNav. It does work. Again, you're going to have the limitation of the output power on the transceiver on the platform. It's not going to go as far as you can talk to it with the transceiver on your radio working at 1 watt or 2 watts. The 40 milliwatts is fixed. It can't be changed. Whereas communications between those two transceivers, the transmitter on the RC radio will ramp up in output power to continue to connect to the receiver. Also, I found when you come down in the menu for the Wi-Fi information on this Crossfire document, it seems to basically be updated for even changes in the 2.04 Wi-Fi. You can see right here. They're talking 2.03 here, but some of these things I see are things that came in with 2.04. For instance, Mavlink, UDP, TCP, both working is here, but they have the uplink count here, but they don't really talk about the downlink count, etc. So it's somewhat updated for the new firmware. So I was happy to see that they're rather quickly updating this documentation, and I found it. The Pro menu is not in there until 2.04, so that all came up. But again, there is a little difference in this and what 2.4 does right in here. Then another gentleman sent me some information about Mavlink. I'll share it just a little bit. This goes really, really deep, and I really thank Mr. Gilson, I think that's how you pronounce the name, for sending me some little deeper information and sent me the link to this Mavlink set. Mavlink is a communication protocol that runs on top of whatever hardware you're using. You got your hardware link, got packets going back and forth. What you put into those packets can be completely different. And in our case, and what I'm talking about, we're going to put in the Mavlink data, which is Mavlink protocol. He was kind enough to send me this list with all the Mavlink stuff in it. It goes much deeper than just sensors. So I will be digging through this. This is the kind of stuff I really love and sink my teeth into that others might not be as interested in. With me, it's kind of like Scotty on Star Trek The Trouble with Tribbles, when he got confined to quarters for starting a fight. And he said, "Oh, thank you, Captain. Now I can catch up on my technical reading." Well, that's me. Uh, I'm just really happy to read deep, deep technical information. It's fun for me. So I got this, and if you guys want this, I can share it, but this goes deeper than most users will need. This is just basically for my uh, consumption. Also got, in addition to this, a link to additional things that Ardu itself adds on top of Mavlink, which is another place that's just really, really, really good for me. A lot of people aren't really going to like this, especially those that just don't want to get that deep into it. But again, this is stuff I love. So those are some tidbits, little shared information on what I found with Crossfire. The fact that we're 40 milliwatts, not 10. That we did find in this manual the sensors that CRSF supports right here. Available sensors with OpenTX. This is what CRSF supports as far as sensor pass-through to an OpenTX radio. And it can be used with Yahoo and iNav telemetry Lewis. And then also the fact that down deep in the documentation, they seem to be updating this manual from the TBS site for the TBS Crossfire RC system as they update the firmware. So that was really nice to see. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope this is good information for all. Have a good one, and thank you.